Welcome back to Backstage Reviews. I'm Lee.
And I'm Scott, and this is season 1. What? Pew 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 pew. Pew pew pew. All
Okay,
right.
so we're getting started with season 1 of Backstage Reviews. This is going to be filled with a lot of stuff. Talking about different artists, different albums, different songs, different genres. Might have some interviews in there, so make sure you're keeping up to date. You can catch us on this podcast. You can also see us on TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube now. And we also have a website. But yeah, we're starting with Kanye West.
What a guy.
What a guy, yeah. What do you have on him?
What do you mean, what do I have on him?
Well, what
Everyone
do you
has
have on him?
something on him.
Everybody's got something about Kanye. Yeah, you're right.
Well, he's been around for a little bit. He's definitely established himself as one of the, if not the greatest producers of at least our generation. I'll say he's one of the greatest producers of all time. And
Yeah.
he's been under a lot of heat a lot, but
I'd say with him being one of the best producers of all time, he's one of the most volatile as well.
yes, I agree.
Like he is a loose colt.
And that's both inside and outside of the studio, because I feel with Donda, there's some, it definitely was not the same Kanye we're used to. Very much a step in the wrong direction as far as production goes. Lots of features on there, but you could tell it was very much rushed, and it wasn't the masterpiece that most people have grown used to.
You know, one of the I was listening to a Joe Rogan podcast yesterday actually, and it was with Kanye, and I might be stupid or I might have caught it wrong or something, but he referred to Donda as his mom.
Yes.
Like when all the songs he wrote on Donda were for his mom or about his mom or relating to his life with his mom, something of that. Is that something that is that general information, or did I just catch it, or what?
So this is gonna blow your mind. Donda is the name of his mom.
Okay, that's pretty cool. That's a cool ass name.
Yeah, it is. And she was his greatest inspiration, and it was when she passed away that's when a lot of people say he really started spiraling.
What do you mean
But
by
yeah,
that?
the first,
Like when he
well, just as a human, I feel like he said some things that with a proper parental figure in your life, maybe you wouldn't be saying.
That's fair.
This is again unrelated to the music. Just as a person, he's been off the rails.
Yeah.
But as going back to what you were saying about Donda, it's definitely got its positives, because just the first song, I believe, is the one where he's saying, or not he, but the woman is saying Donda over and over again.
Yeah.
And I believe she says it at the rate that his mom's heart was beating before she passed away.
No way.
Yeah. So that's that. I mean, when you start off like that, it's, you're in for a good album. And as poor as I think the rest of it is, you still got to give flowers where they're due. It was not a bad album by any means.
That's crazy how, like you saying that, she died from heart disease. And no, it's crazy. She died in 2007, and Donda didn't release till 2021. And then Donda 2, 2022. But dude, that's a crazy big gap. That's a lot of time for him to be volatile.
But there's a lot of music in there in that gap that was amazing.
Definitely. But you would think, yeah, you're right. I mean, like, Jesus King, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, although, like, those are some big hitters right there in between that time period. But you would think that him writing an album with his mom's name would be way more just, like, I don't even know how to describe it. Way better, right?
Yes. And I think part of that is there's not some confusion. I'm pretty sure Universal wanted that album out a good few months before it actually got released, and they finally dropped it. And I believe he even tweeted, like, it's not finished. It's not even close to being finished. They released it, in his normal fashion, like,
Okay.
the world's against me right now and all that.
That's pretty fair. So what he was saying maybe is more the record label released it before it was ready.
Yes. But there's two sides to that. I know he had plenty of time to create the album, and he probably agreed that he would have had it done by the date that they gave him, and then things ended up taking longer than he thought. If I'm the
No.
record label, you got to balance the interest of the people, but also I know that Drake released that same day. I feel like I would have given the man some more time.
Oh, easily. Yeah. But I don't know. It all boils down to money in the music production world. So
That is very true.
it's crazy between Donda and Donda Part 2. Or not even Part 2, just Donda 2. I feel like there's not a single overlap other than Jail and Jail Part 2, right? Or wait, is Jonah?
I think 3 of them have a part 2.
Yeah, I'm looking at the songs right now. Dude, I didn't even know there was we were hanging out the other day and I didn't even know there was a Part 2 to Jail.
Oh yeah, one of them's got the
I
baby on
sound
it. I
stupid
think
for saying that, but
they're both good versions.
they're both good versions, but I listened to them maybe like 5 or 6 times in that one sitting, and they sound so similar at the same time.
Oh well, yeah. Most of the part 2s are just a different verse or a different artist singing in place of another, or just another verse added entirely.
So how do you feel about, speaking of, you brought up the baby, how do you feel about features on Kanye's music?
I think there's only so much you can do as a single artist. He's got a great singing voice, but he himself cannot sing as well as Rihanna, or maybe not rap as well as Jay-Z, and I think his ability to recognize where he falls short and where others succeed is another reason why he's so successful as an artist. Because it used to be I'd see all these features and I'd be kind of upset because you want to listen to the artist who's dropping the album.
Right.
But then with him, and it's not the same for everybody, some artists are really bad and they just need features. But he recognizes those talents that those artists bring to the table, and for the most part, he usually hits it out of the park.
That was well said. I agree quite a bit there. I didn't agree at one point.
Okay.
No, seriously, yeah. Like, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, I've always been into music, but before I really started getting into music and listening to music, oh man, like if I was listening to I can't think of a good artist with a lot of features on it right now, but for instance, if I was listening to Kanye and it had John Legend featured, I wasn't gonna like it. Like I was stuck up about it.
You were going into it like, I'm not going
This
to
isn't
enjoy
gonna
this.
be as good as it could have been. It was a crutch,
Okay,
right?
I could see that.
But no, seriously, I think you said it very well. Kanye recognizes all of the benefits of other artists and how, kind of like his performance, what was it, 2022 when he was on the platform?
I'm not sure what you
I think
mean.
that was in Miami. In Miami, he did a live performance and he was on a platform dancing above the whole crowd. It was pretty crazy. You should watch it sometime. But it elevates that platform, and I think it does a very good job. One of my favorite albums, and you guys could check this out on our shorts. When we did a snake draft, right?
Yeah.
My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. It has the perfect balance of maybe a little too many features, and I want to hear what you have to say, but maybe too many features, but also a lot of solos, and it's just a really good balance. Do you think you can go too far with features?
Yes, 100%. It's I can't think of any on the top of my head, but I mean, I guess it sort of applies with what's his face? The Spider-Verse Metro Boomin. He
Okay.
obviously he doesn't do his own singing, but he just DJ Khaled. That's a much better example. That dude just says his name at the beginning of each song and then throws together 4 or 5 of the greatest artists that you can imagine, and it's just horrible. And I think that's one of those examples where yeah, it's a bad producer, but like you're not going to get you can't just put a bunch of great minds in a room and expect greatness to come from it. And DJ Khaled's a great example of that because there have been so many times where I've looked at a song and seen all the features and thought like it would take a magician to screw that up.
Well,
and then it's just
then it
horrible.
happened.
Yeah.
That's where I think, okay, we're really getting off on a tangent here, but might as well. DJs specifically. So some big ones I can think of: Marshmello, DJ Khaled, Avicii.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like DJs don't have this is kind of taking a stance here, but they don't have enough talent to like DJ Khaled adding all those features was him covering up what maybe he was scared to show. You get what I'm saying? You following?
I will say what he lacks in production capabilities, he makes up for in getting those people to be on the same song in the first place, as well as promoting it. Like he himself is a marketer for himself, and he's got a bunch of good qualities to help music be successful. But I agree, he lacks.
DJs are too like, and I'm not saying all DJs, but just I think they kind of get into almost a business or like put as much as they can out in one sitting. Whereas like Kanye, for instance, he's an artist and he can be a DJ. He can also be a producer. Or like Jeff Lynne, for instance. I bring him up all the time.
Yeah.
But like he produced for the Beatles. He produced his own music. He can also sing. He can also mix music. He's an engineer. So yeah, I think that going back to Kanye, he's very intelligent to be able to harness the abilities of himself and then also bring in others to make great music. And maybe that's why he's so good, because he's an artist in a sense of like using all the colors on the palette. He can use all the people in his industry in the right ways.
That is what separates him. Like, I mean, I'm sure you could show him a beat and in just a few seconds he could already tell you who would be best on that track.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Charlie Puth interviews?
Yes.
Dude, that dude is insane. It's like Kanye has a what do you call it? Perfect pitch, like Charlie Puth does. But for people, you know?
Yeah.
I think, in my opinion, that'd be a pretty good description of a featured artist on one of his songs. They fit perfectly most of the time. I haven't seen one where it hasn't fit very well.
I agree. I'll admit, I guess I don't really think of like if I'm hearing Jay-Z on a song, I'm not really thinking who could have been better here.
That's true. That's true.
But I mean,
But
there's never
that's
been
like
one where
it's not
I've
even a
doubted
thought.
him. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Huh. Okay, so along the lines of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, the cover art. Here's an interesting
Yes.
fact. Kanye wanted the cover art for this album to be so provocative that it would be banned by anyone playing the music, and
Isn't
it
that
did.
crazy?
And like he literally requested that the cover image be so provocative that just to prove himself, like, or maybe not even prove himself, just to like give the world a shock.
Do you think he was doing that to get people to talk about it, or do you think he wanted to prove that the music would be so good that it doesn't matter that the cover art itself is like illegal, so to speak?
Yeah. For me, I think no, Kanye doesn't care. He marketing aside, money aside, like, dude, if he loses $1 billion, I mean, he did. We can talk about this now. I mean, Adidas and what he said. What was it last year? No, 2 years ago now, 2022, and he lost his sneaker contract and all that. He
Yeah,
threw $1 billion away in a day. Like he doesn't care about what he says. And
clearly.
yeah, exactly. I mean, he doesn't. He says what he says, and
He stands by it.
he stands by it. He kind of, it's kind of hard to even. I mean, I'm assuming a lot of our listeners have heard who Kanye is, but if you haven't, just Google his name, and you'll kind of get an idea of what we're talking about. It's like there's a brick wall, and that brick wall is the public, and he took a sledgehammer, the public image of the like what society is, and he takes a sledgehammer and just destroys the entire wall. Doesn't care about putting it back up ever.
Yeah.
I don't know. That might not be the greatest description, but he's a crazy dude. He's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's definitely genuine. I mean, you got to give him that. But there's a lot of questionable things.
That's another part of it. I mean,
but maybe that's part of it. You gotta, to be a genius, maybe there's gotta be a little bit of crazy in you. And his crazy, it's just a lot more crazier than anyone else ever.
I like his mentality with like they tried to medicate him and stuff, and to the extent of that, like just letting his why restrain his creative ability with modern medicine and stuff like that. But there's definitely some social things that I think he could have been a little bit more sensitive with. Do you think artists, so like along with that, do you think artists have a responsibility with the stage that they're on to like represent or to create, like to be a role model for the public, for young people especially?
Yes. But that's tough. I mean, with the platform he has especially, it's caused a lot of hate. And it's hard to say. I don't know. Because it's the same thing can be said about athletes. Do they have a responsibility
Right.
to society and to be a role model? And I mean, he's been a good role model in some aspects. He's a good father from what I've seen. Maybe I'm on a different side of YouTube Shorts than the rest of the world, but seems to be a good dad. Maybe a little obsessive over the ex, but I don't know if an artist has a responsibility.
I think if anything, I don't think they have a responsibility either. I don't think any of us truly have the responsibility to be a role model for others. But if anything, he definitely was a role model in the sense of making his own decision and backing it up or sticking with it or being creative or just standing up for what he believes in. Or I think we could look at any person with that. And I think that could be represented in his music as well. All of his lyrics, they have that drive and that meaning, and it's backed up by the sounds and the features and the listeners. I mean, people listen. So I think it's pretty cool.
All right, I'm trying to think. We are at 21 minutes. I don't know if we want to dive into... I mean, we were talking about My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy earlier. I've got a little fun fact. Power, the song Power.
Yeah.
I learned this in history of rock class, but it samples 21st Century Schizoid Man, which is like one of the first rock songs. It was during like the progressive British rock era by King Crimson.
Really?
But even more on that, he is quoted to say that, okay, I say he's quoted, I'm going to paraphrase though, but essentially he spent 5,000 man hours making the song Power.
5,000.
Now, people have been trying to, see how real that truly could be by crunching some numbers, and realistically, if multiple people worked on the album, it is possible that 5,000 hours were spent on Power. I don't think that he spent that much time on it, but I do think he spent a lot of time on the song.
That's crazy.
To even give such a number is absurd.
It's crazy to hear that, especially since there's, like, I wouldn't, hot take, but I wouldn't say that's the pinnacle of the album either.
I agree. There's another song on there that I find a little bit better.
Runaway.
Yeah.
You would agree?
Agreement. Yeah. Yes.
Even like, and then you look at popularity of other songs. All of the Lights.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't know. That's interesting. He felt so strongly to put so much time into that.
He's a perfectionist too, though, and I think he found something that wasn't perfect, and he just kept finding more and more things that he can improve upon. And eventually it totaled to 5,000 hours, supposedly.
That's impressive.
It's a lot of time.
Yeah. I think we could literally talk about that album for hours. At least I could.
Yes.
But your favorite album here, let's talk about this one. The Life of Pablo.
Oh, yeah. Hey, it's back in the Billboard 100 or 200, I think, just this week.
What's your favorite song off the album?
Oh. Okay, I'll admit I haven't really started listening to it until it was while I was in Germany, so back in June.
I mean,
that's
when
fine,
I was man.
Really...
There's so much music to listen to. You're not going to get around to everything. So, I mean, I hope to get around to everything, but it's just the timing.
I would say my favorite is... Oh, there's one... Okay, Wolves is good. Famous is good. Oh, Waves. Okay. Waves is like... It's a very... It feels short. I don't know if it's actually a short song, but it's one of those songs that feels shorter than it should be.
3:01. So it's definitely shortish. Actually,
no,
that's right in the sweet spot.
I guess, yeah, that's like the average.
Yeah.
Whatever the case, it just starts so huge. Like right out the gate, it is just a bunch of sounds, and it tickles the ear. So I like it for that reason. I don't think it's like we're talking about production, singing, all that. I think Father Stretch My Hands, or maybe I've been liking FML lately. It's so. Oh, and then No More Parties in LA's got Kendrick in it. Can't go wrong there.
I think this is another album that's very well balanced with the, like, going back to the features. You know, it's
Yes.
not overwhelming, but it's also, I don't know, perfect.
Yeah, because he's
You have
got
not
plenty of
mentioned
songs on there
Ultralight
without
Beam.
many
I'm
features.
surprised.
Not mention what?
Ultralight Beam.
It's all right. There's only so many songs I can mention.
That's fair. That's fair. I've recently been listening to Waves quite a bit. It didn't really stick out to me
Good song.
the first time I listened to it, even like the second and third time I listened to it. But and you know what? I'm a believer that listening to music on headphones versus listening to music on a speaker, way different experiences. And then you can even
I
go
just
further
saw
than
something
that.
today that was saying you have to listen to. I think it was Waves actually. Yeah, I just saw a
No way.
comment of like a few hours ago that's like, if I could go back in time, I would listen to Waves on my headphones for the first time.
That's
Wow.
weird. That's weird.
And I
See,
agree. It is so good.
Yeah. Because I have listened to it on speakers. Actually, when we were filming those shorts, we were listening to Waves at one point, and then I got back to school, and I'm wearing headphones, and I was walking to class today, and I was listening to Waves, and it was just like something clicked. But
That's just the Waves.
I think that Ultralight Beam is one of my favorites. I also like Fade, and Wolves is a very good one. Why do you think he made I Love Kanye 44 seconds? They're super short.
Have you heard it?
No, I haven't listened to this one.
It's one of those that has potential, and I'm sure he's been interviewed about it, but I think he just freestyled it and left it as it was. It's such a dry bones. Oh, okay. This, unless you have more to speak on about the life of Pablo,
That's kind of
I've got
it's kind
some
of impressive that
Yeezus
he
stuff.
was like such a perfectionist on My Beautiful Dark Fantasy or Dark Twisted Fantasy with Power, and then he just I think it kind of goes back to just being confident with what he's at. He's not gonna.
I think it's also like whatever's going on in his life at the time plays
true.
a big
You've
role.
talked about that before.
And then also, if you spend 5,000 hours on a song, you're gonna be burnt out, no matter what kind of twisted mind you have.
Yeah, totally.
But
he released that. What?
I was just about to look.
2010. Something like that.
Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy was 2010.
Okay. Yeah, Yeezus though. In my opinion, this is one of the coolest album covers that he has.
I like it too. Why do you like it?
I think it's just like I don't know. It's like it wasn't staged. Like I do like to take pictures. I'm not like super into photography, but I do like to dabble in that world. And I love taking pictures that are just nothing has been set up. It's already there. And that's kind of what this one looks like to me. It's just like he found some sort of disc with a red whatever on it and then stuck with it. What about you?
I think it's just visually it's simple. It looks like a classic
Yeah.
without even having to listen to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at too. Like it doesn't have anything to it. That's how it is clean.
And the red pops, no, I agree. He knows his album covers, as we've discussed. But yeah, this was released between pretty much smack dab in the middle of My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy and Life of Pablo. And it was very experimental, which is always a hit or miss because usually with experimental albums, they tend to not do so well, or at least not be received very well by the public when they're first released. And this was no exception. A lot of people hated Yeezus, but Kanye has said in the past that he makes music for the future, which sounds like just a bad excuse in the moment. Like, I'm doing bad now, but just wait. But Yeezus has grown on me. More specifically, I have not listened to the album all the way through in order, but it begins with On Sight. And if you guys are familiar with that song, that used to be an instant skip for me because I can't even sing how bad it is. Like, it is so like horrible to the ears. And then I finally had to look up why it's so bad. And then if you get to, I think it's about 30 seconds in, there's like this choir that's singing, "He gives us what we want. We can't always have what we need." I may have messed up that quote, but the point is, it is the most beautiful sample in any Kanye song I've ever heard. And what I thought ruined it by, putting it on a song with such horrible instrumental, but he's doing it on purpose because basically his argument is that, like, yeah, you want me to make a song with this amazing sample and this choir singing all heavenly, but that's not what you need right now. And that's it goes against what any artist who's trying to make money will ever tell you. They're like, especially to lead with such a song.
Well, it's kind of
like
it was
very bold.
Well, wait, hold on. Say it again. It's not what you want, but what you need. Is that what Kanye was saying? Is that what you're trying to say?
I wanna get it right. So let me.
Yeah. Let those brain juices flow.
Let me show you right now before you give it up. Oh yeah, he'll give us what we need. Sorry, I said it backwards. He'll give us what we need. It may not be what we want.
Yes. Okay.
That makes more sense.
I think that's kind of okay. So the Beatles, right? Paul McCartney always talks about how, or people always ask him, like, how did you make the Beatles famous? How were the Beatles famous? All this stuff, right? And he always says that, well, it's very simple. You just put, you just write very simple lyrics that people can follow, and you write very simple tunes that people can hum, and you put it all together, you get record labels, you get millions of dollars, you get concerts, and that's why. Oh, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Beatles is one of my favorite bands ever, and I think they amazing stuff, but
they were very simple at the beginning.
Very simple, and that's what people wanted to hear.
Yes.
And I don't know. It's weird because we'll have to see, at least in our lifetime, if the Beatles stand the true test of time. Like, do they have an expansive listener, like youth, middle age, and older generations? Or will something like Kanye with the experimental and the modern and the maybe you don't want it right now, but you need it, kind of music, if that will draw in more people over time and keep people interested longer? I don't know. We'll have to find out.
Ooh.
Yeah. But I would say Yeezus is an album that it's very intimidating. Even just to look at. Maybe that's why he used that album cover. Very simple, draws your attention, and then you see the titles of all the songs, and you're like, "Whoa, that is not what I came for. What are you doing, Kanye?" And then you listen to it 10, 20 times, and eventually it talks to you. But interesting. Here's some fun facts. Travis Scott and Daft Punk helped co-produce on Yeezus.
You know, I had forgotten that, but I remembered only because Travis Scott's new album, Utopia, a lot of people were saying it sounds like Yeezus. Lo and behold, they were both on Yeezus.
Yeah. That's something I never would have really imagined. But no, it makes sense. It makes sense. You can hear it in Travis's music sometimes.
Definitely an underrated producer.
Travis's?
Yeah, I think he gets overlooked because of his auto-tune. But
yeah, I think he falls in. He came into popularity at a weird time.
Yeah.
With a weird group of, but like that was our high school, right? High school, like later high school years. So the 2020s was when he was really popping. I wouldn't say that he's not anymore, but just kind of a weird time for music.
I agree. It was the Drake era.
Yeah.
Which we are out of now, by the way.
Yes, we are. I'm not a big Drake fan. Are you? I think he has some good music, but it's just.
I recognize that he's a top rapper of all time. It's just difficult for me because he kind of has that Beatles formula going down. He knows what will hit, and I think it's frustrating in the moment, but it takes a man to admit if a dude's got good music.
Oh yeah, I agree. He is a top-notch musician, producer. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he does fit that kind of like he's just fitting pieces into the puzzle.
Which is frustrating because you feel like a pawn while you're listening to his music.
Yeah.
But then maybe we're just overthinking it.
I think we are overthinking it, but you know what? That's
our job.
What we do here on Backstage.
Yeah.
I'm kind of blown away by Daft Punk, though. I did not know that. That's cool. I love Daft Punk. I think they're pretty, even though they split, which stinks. But yeah, I like Daft Punk, dude. We should totally do. You guys will have to let us know. Do you love Tron Legacy? And should we do a podcast about the instrumental music on that movie? I don't know. But Daft Punk is behind all that music. Great music. That's kind of another good question. Do you think? Okay. Do you prefer music with words or without words? You only get to pick one.
Then I'm taking words.
Okay.
Easily. Are you not? Do you not feel the same?
Well, why is that? I want to hear what you have to say.
Maybe I'm misinterpreting your question, but like if I could only listen to one or the other, there's been, 99% of the music I listen to has words in it.
Okay, yeah.
Paired with good instrumental as well.
Also,
you're taking the instrumental?
Happy birthday, David Bowie.
Yeah.
I didn't notice that. It's David Bowie's birthday. No. I never said I was picking the instrumental. I think that we were talking about this the other day, or maybe it was today. I can't remember. I think it was yesterday. When do you think about the lyrics? You know, the lyrics come after the music. In my opinion, I think you're struck with the sounds before you're struck with maybe a meaning. And I think that's just as humans, our brains can't really process that instantly, so you have to listen to it a few times. So I think that the music makes or breaks a song, and then the lyrics, that's what keeps the song going. Like it gives the intricacies and why I listen again and again and again and again. So yeah, I would definitely pick the combo. I couldn't just do one without the other.
It was a good question though, because there are some instrumental songs that I would not want to give up, because it takes talent to convey the same emotions without words, without what most of a song is. I wouldn't say most, but a good chunk of a song.
Truly. And it really makes you like tip your hat to classical music or those instrumentals like Tron or
Interstellar.
And there's a lot of other good ones. In my opinion, Pirates of the Caribbean. Even like Star Wars. That all great music without words. And it's like, you watch a movie. If you watch that movie without music, that ain't a movie.
Completely
anymore.
Different movie. It's not even worth it.
It's the same thing with Hey Jude, Beatles. If you just listen to the lyrics, no music behind it, it's not gonna feel the same. So yeah, I think you definitely need to come up.
Honestly, it's like any early Beatles song without the music. The lyrics are very simple.
Yeah, I agree. That's why I think the Beatles were better after they split. We could talk about this forever too. But all their music became very poetic, in my opinion. Like there was a deeper meaning. I don't know. Kanye, man. Kanye gets you down there. Gets you thinking.
It does.
No, yeah. Before we go, I think we should talk about Vultures.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did he say Vultures is going to be the name of the album?
So when you look online, it says Vultures studio album by Kanye and Ty Dolla $ign. But that is also that's who was featured on the song, right? Vultures was featured by Ty Dolla $ign.
Him and a few other people.
So,
that's another question. Do you have we were talking about this earlier. Do you feel less excited about Vultures now that you see it's Ty Dolla $ign being featured? Because those are the two artists that are going to be on every song.
dude,
I don't know if he'll be singing on every song, but he'll be producing all of them.
I always get weirded out by new music. I started out with all the oldies, right? So all the old rock bands, classic rock, specifically like the Beatles and ELO and like Guns N' Roses, stuff like that. They never released new music. So the Beatles just released a new song, but like Kanye releasing new music, I'm kind of nervous. Do you ever get nervous about new music coming out?
Yes.
Like it could be
Post Malone gets me nervous.
Yeah.
Because I like him. I think our whole swim team locker room kind of fell in love with him. And it's funny because if you've ever spoken to like any other male our age, he's pretty hated.
Yeah, you're right. And honestly, if you start, what was I gonna say? But no. Like Post Malone, yeah, in that swim locker room, maybe you didn't like him at first, but it definitely grew on you eventually at some point.
Yes, it was bound to.
Yeah, kind of embedded. No, but Vultures, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it'll be like. It's kind of a good feeling.
Dubai or Saudi Arabia. He's been.
No way. I thought he was in Miami.
Oh, maybe he is now. He was in some desert for a while.
What?
Oh yeah.
Let's see. I'm looking it up. I'm looking up where he performed last. Okay. Oh, what? I was not in the right place. Last time he performed was in February 2022 in Miami. Okay, so that was his last performance, but he's been chilling in the desert.
Yeah, I don't know where I saw that, and it probably wasn't Dubai at all, but oh, here it is.
Kanye in the desert. Oh yeah,
Yeah, he went to a desert paradise hotel amidst marital struggles 2 months ago, and people were predicting like this is about to be the greatest album ever.
Really?
I mean, if you're going to a retreat in the desert, you gotta be
Dude,
going through something.
he's got like a luxurious tent and like.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe this would be terrible to be this famous and just have people follow you all the time. Like people are just taking pictures of him when he's supposed to be just relaxing and getting away.
Oh yeah.
This looks like
It's
a base
constant.
on Mars or something. Jeez. Well,
Stuff like that gets me hopeful. If I see an artist going through stuff like that, I'm like, I feel bad for him, but this music's about to hit.
it totally gets me excited, but I don't know. I'm still weary because he's got so much good music already. How could this be better? How could this be better?
That's a big debate. A lot of people are saying he's past his prime, that he set the bar too high with My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
No, I don't think he ever set the like. I do see him going up and up and up and up and up, but it's just hard to top. And that's
it's also hard to top when you have such good albums in your past.
Yeah,
because that's all people compare him to.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's also something to say. They're comparing him to himself.
Yeah,
not really to other people. That's crazy.
I mean he's on a complete different level. There's no one else you can compare it to.
Yeah,
it's just not fair.
With that, that makes you wonder about backstage. How could this get any better, right?
Right.
So,
this is only episode 1.
This is only episode 1 of season 1. We hope you listened all the way through. And tune in 10 o'clock Wednesdays from here on out. We promise we're going to be more consistent. Hopefully the next couple of podcasts we're going to have some video cams so you can actually see us, get to know us. And
we're going to light Lee on fire.
Yeah, we're going to light me on fire, and we're going to tie Scott up in a tree by his feet.
No. Okay. That's a little too far.
Oh, okay. Too far. Yeah, so in the meantime, keep track of social media, watch our shorts, comment any questions, reach out, and stay tuned. My name's Lee.
I'm Scott.
And we're Backstage Reviews.